Hey guys, it's Tarot and Beyond. Today we're going to do something that we usually do on the members side of the channel in terms of pick a card readings. This is a written in jar of suggested topics from the members. So I'm just going to select, I feel that one. So I'm just going to select one of those and then we'll see what the topic's going to be for this reading. And we will pull the selector cards from that. How to tell if you have shifted timelines. Noticing subtle and not so subtle changes. So that's going to be the topic today. You guys probably already know that because you've looked at the thumbnail and the title. So let's get our significator cards. Group number 1, feel that one. Group 2, and I actually see this one down here for group number 3. Yeah, let's turn them over. Why not? So group number 1 is going to be new chapter, but in reverse. No, I heard turn it around. All upright, they said. Okay. Spirit being very clear about this. Upright messages, new chapter for group 1. Group number 2 is transformation. And group number 3 is walk your truth. All right. If you feel drawn to more than one, there could just be multiple messages that are here for you today, especially if there's multiple different timelines or cues or signals, maybe even synchronicities that you need to be aware of. So use the timestamps linked in the description box or the chapter notes below to jump ahead to your chosen reading or readings, and we'll see you there. All right, hi group number 1, welcome to your reading. You chose the new chapter card, and Spirit was very direct about how they wanted this card to be. It came out reversed, they wanted it upright. So a new chapter in terms of a timeline shift here is something that you will notice, and they're showing me something about like stark differences. They're showing you black and white. So contrast, you'll be able to notice some kind of contrast in the new chapter. It's different than where you came from. That's what I'm hearing. So for you, group number 1, it's actually going to be quite obvious. I think that there will still be some subtle changes, but they're showing me that those subtle changes will be talked about more in group numbers 2 and 3. For you, group 1, they want you to know about these obvious changes when you experience a timeline shift. So first and foremost, what is a timeline shift? Well, it's essentially when you've raised your vibration or shifted vibration significantly enough to be able to shift to a different potential creation. Timelines are not linear. Timelines are not like branches on a tree. It's more like layers in a cake, and you can shift up and down. We're constantly shifting timelines based on our frequency, our vibration, our level of consciousness, our awareness, and our choices and actions. Now, we do this all the time very subtly, but what they're talking about here for you, group number 1, is more overt, and that's when you shift significantly. So there's like large quantum level shifts that will occur. Quantum jumping could be another way of phrasing it. And this is when you timeline jump to a significantly different reality. Now, it's not going to look so different that you're like, wow, I'm in a completely different world and a different body. No, that's not how this works. It's more like you will notice that things change drastically. So maybe you go through a glow up all of a sudden, or you experience some kind of a radical shift in your health overnight. You know, it can happen in a slower, more gradient fashion, but usually these types of shifts and the way that they're showing it to me is quite drastic. And so it can happen quite literally overnight. And this is what they're showing me for you, group number 1, is that you're about to enter into a new chapter, or you have just entered into a new chapter, depending on kind of where you're sitting at in this timeline projection. But either way, it's a massive shift, and you're going to see things change in a way, or you have started to see things change in a way that is obvious to you. For some of you, this is going to look like new opportunities, doors that are opening up to you, new potentials that you never had access to before are going to become, I'm hearing offered, they're going to be offered to you, and you'll be tightening something up. They're showing me screws, so you're going to be tightening something up that was loose before, or it could be something about spiraling. They're showing me that the screws can be about some kind of like, some kind of like a spiral. I don't fully understand what that one's talking about. Something about screws could be significant. It could even be a synchronicity, but what they were showing me before was like you're going to be tightening something up or it's going to be offered to you. Something's going to be offered to you in a way that you didn't expect. Okay, so we'll just put this to the side and we'll look at, yeah, I think I'm going to go in with some tarot. Which one? All right, we're going to do this deck for you guys. So what does group number 1 need to know here, Spirit, about this timeline shift? How to know they're going through this timeline shift? 8 of Swords and the Judgment card. So yeah, this is a major shift in your level of consciousness, and where things seemed limited before, doors open drastically. I keep hearing overnight, so something happening overnight. Things or potentials that you thought were not possible, they're showing me that too with the 8 of Swords, and I was kind of seeing that before too. Like it seemed impossible, and then all of a sudden it becomes possible. That's how you know you've shifted, because it's now showing up. It's in your reality. It's tangible. That's kind of what I'm seeing here. And it comes from a consciousness shift. It comes from maybe a change in the way that you're thinking about the situation. I'm hearing for some of you, there's a reading that you've gotten recently. Not necessarily from me. Could have been from somebody else on YouTube, or even like you went to them personally and you had a personal reading or something like that. Akashic reading, energy reading, tarot reading, anything like that. That's going to be for someone or a group of people in this group. So you will know who you are if that's the case. And I've seen that with my clients too as well. Like people will come into a reader's life at a particular time, depending on the reader. But I know in my experience doing Akashic readings, Reiki, and Tarot and Oracle, just in general, working with spirit in this way, people will be drawn to me at a certain time when they're ready to shift. And especially when I was helping people to clear karma from their Akashic record, it was significant how profoundly people would shift, and it would be an overnight thing. So there's something about that here for you as well, group number 1. So you'll notice it because this experience, not necessarily the person, but the experience and the awareness you gained from it helps you to balance something out that was, I'm hearing something about rigid. It was rigid before, or, oh, it was screwed in too tight. It kind of goes, I think it goes both ways. And this is what Temperance is talking about too. Something that was screwed in too tight is getting removed. And something that was not screwed in tight enough is getting screwed in tighter. I don't know what to make of that. So hopefully you'll be able to interpret it. But there's something about one area of your life loosening up, maybe where there was a lot of restriction, and another area of your life becoming more solid or becoming more sustainable, reliable in some way. That's another thing they want me to mention before I move to the next card so I don't get distracted. Another signal of you shifting timelines drastically like this is going to be that you will see how different you feel, and you will be able to operate from choice rather than from, how do I put this? How you used to believe, or how you used to, it's almost like what they're showing me is kind of like you thought one way and you kind of got stuck in that. And when this consciousness shift happens and this new chapter opens up for you, it's directly because of the fact that you have, it's like you've blown something wide open. I just hit my glasses with my thumb. So something about glasses, seeing something clearly. Yeah, that awakening. You saw it clearly for the first time, or you understood it in a different way. And this really opens things up for you. They keep showing me those screws again, and they're saying the word stripping. Oh, you know when you're trying to like screw something in and you've done it too many times and it gets stripped so that it doesn't have that grip? They're showing me filling drywall in the wall. It's like you're able to close, ending a chapter, closing some kind of a pattern, and maybe starting from scratch in a different area. Something about that. I don't know. Knight of Wands. Well, I was just saying different area. So maybe there's like movement involved in this as well. You could be called to move, literally move, because when you close out that old chapter, the old timeline closes and you're no longer a resonant match frequency-wise to where you used to live, or maybe even how you perceived yourself. It's like your concept of self changes and then your environment has to change as a result of that. It all stems from within. There's some level of awareness that you've gained. There's some level of awakening that you've gone through that has shifted what you believe to be possible about what you can achieve, accomplish, what's real and what's not real. They just said something about, they're showing me the planet Neptune. So fantasy and illusion versus reality, believing and then achieving, I just heard as well. Page of Swords. It's like you learn something. Yeah, you learn something new. You learn something about yourself. You learn something about the nature of reality. It's both. It's both, they said. It's both. It goes in both directions. Again, it's that the screw in and out. There's something about spirals and cycles of time, duality, in and out, black and white, contrast, and being able to harmonize. Temperance is about the middle path. It's having those dualities balanced and harmonized. Strength. It's probably also going to feel like you've overcome something that was significantly draining your energy. For some of you in this group, I'm getting a message about this new chapter, this timeline shift, awakening a certain level of healing capacity within you. It's like you can, I don't know why they keep showing me the screws, and now they're showing me somebody hanging a picture on the wall. This could be because you're moving, like you're removing screws from the wall, you're screwing something in, hanging a picture, something about the screws. I don't know. Screwy. When something goes screwy, it's a little bit chaotic, but that could be a symptom of this as well. It's like you go from chaos to order. Again, it's something about this duality, and it took a lot of strength for you to be able to balance this out, or to understand why this was happening. Perspective. Yeah, it's the perspective shift that you needed. The ending that brings the new change. And is it an end or is it a beginning? Well, it depends on your perspective. So is it an opportunity or is it a limitation? Maybe that's what shifts this. Maybe this is what Spirit wants you to understand. When you shift from the old timeline to the new one, it's because you've changed your perspective. Maybe you went from a static mindset or a limiting mindset to a growth mindset. Maybe you became more adaptable with Temperance here in the Knight of Wands, Page of Swords. You were more open-minded, willing to learn. It's like a beginner mindset that helps you to overcome something that felt like it was overpowering you. And I actually just did hear the word innovation. Maybe it's an innovative new perspective or mindset, and you're able to overcome, an old pattern, the screw, cycles, karmic pattern. I just saw a unicorn horn, how it's twisted up like that. Something was twisted. Something was twisted, and it can be good or bad. It can spiral through time in a positive way, or it can spiral through time, and if you cycle through it too many times, it can get a little bit worse for wear, I'm hearing. Going through karma too much, too often. I heard history repeating itself in a new chapter. It's like rereading the same chapter in a book over and over and over again. There's a certain point where it doesn't help you anymore. It doesn't do anything. It gets stripped. Okay, I gotcha. Just kind of working the puzzle pieces here. Versus when you reread a chapter and then you get this epiphany, like maybe you have to read it a few times, but ultimately what the goal is here is to understand, to grasp what it's teaching you. To grasp, I'm hearing the meaning, and they're showing me reading between the lines. So it's like seeing the theme, the pattern, the archetypes, understanding what it's trying to convey to you without getting hung up on the details. And I think this could be part of what elevates your perspective or your level of awareness or consciousness around this pattern or this problem. What you were learning, they keep saying something about what you were learning kept repeating, and it overlapped on itself in such a way that it almost like became confusing or hard to see. but then you gained some level of perspective. Maybe it was from an outside person, somebody who is objective. You know, when you, yeah, what's that saying? It's hard to see the forest through the trees, or you're too close to it. Sometimes that happens. Like, even as a reader for myself, I'm great at reading patterns in other people, less so with myself. And I know if you're a reader yourself, you can relate and probably understand this too. It's harder to read for yourself. It really is. You can still do it, but it's a little bit more difficult because we have that innate bias and we're too close to it. It's hard to be objective when you're too close to it because you're subjectively immersed in the experience. And so it's hard to see that contrast. It's hard to be completely honest with yourself because there may be blind spots or areas that you don't see. And I think this is what has shifted you, or this is what will shift you. And you will see it very clearly in this way because it will be, yeah, it feels like an epiphany. Three of Swords. And it could be around some kind of healing. I heard healing modality. Healing modality, some kind of healing modality will help you to shift this. The power is ultimately in your hands. A healer does not heal you. A reader does not propel you forward of their own accord. You do your healing when you're ready, but you will be attracted to the people, the catalysts, the experiences that will help you to do what you're already doing. They will act as like propellant, a gasoline on the fire, or salt in the water to help it boil faster. It's like a catalyst. It helps you to do it more efficiently when you're ready to do it. Knight of Cups. I feel movement a lot here in your reading group number 1. So I think that one of the main signs that you're going to see when you've shifted, or if you've shifted, you'll start to see things move forward. Where things felt stuck, mentally or physically, it shifts and you see that change. So you start seeing progress in your work, or you start making moves in some way. It's like you're able to be more active is kind of what I'm seeing here. Maybe it's physically. If it's a health thing, again, it's like you get your energy back and you're able to build muscle, or you're able to lose weight, or you're able to do something. You're able to progress. You're like getting out of the plateau where you believed you were stuck in that forever. And it's like, oh no, actually I can break through that. I just needed to understand this level of what I was being taught here, like what I was trying to teach myself here. Ace of Crystals. And then I see that the new opportunities coming in as a result of that. And it's all about your consciousness. It's all about your awareness. Your vibration shifts because of that. I heard that very clearly from Spirit. Your vibration shifts because of that. And then you see the tangible results. Seven of Cups, something that was confusing you. It's like, again, it was like too many things layered on top of each other, so you didn't see it clearly. And then somebody or something helps you to see it piece by piece. It's like it's broken down for you in a way that you can finally see the bits and bobs of it. Yeah, they're showing me what are those like optical illusion pictures from the 90s where if you looked at it from a certain angle or a certain distance and you unfocused your eyes, you had to kind of look at the whole thing at once. It's like bigger picture type of energy that I'm getting for you, group 1. But you would see the picture within the picture. But if you look at it from the wrong angle, or you're staring at it too directly, then you can't see the picture within the picture. You can only see the pieces that make it up. So, okay, and they're showing me somebody looking at one of those in like a museum. I don't know why it's in a museum. Maybe this is something, oh yeah, museums display history and art too. So art could be part of this. New creative ways of thinking, I just heard. Oh, okay. And something about the past. You're seeing the past clearly. You're able to chronologically put things in order in some way and understand the natural progression and see the different phases and stages of your life too. I think that you'll be able to kind of like, you can very clearly see this is where I used to be, and then this is where it shifted, and now this is where I am. It's kind of like you'll feel like you're living a new life, even though it's still this current lifetime. But what they were showing me was somebody standing in this museum looking at this holographic or this this illusion art, going right up close to it, like right almost nose touching the art, and then slowly backing away from it and disfocusing the eyes and looking at the whole thing in its totality. I just heard that word, totality, and then being able to see it. And sometimes it needs to be laid out in front of you like that so that you can very clearly see what was going on. So it's the biggest signal or symbol that you will see when you've shifted timelines is the fact that you will have gained that awareness. You will see the bigger picture. You will have had an epiphany of some kind, or you'll have learned something from this. And then as a result of that, or during that, whatever it looks like, it's going to shift. Yeah, they keep telling me a message about new opportunities. Can we get any information about what those are, Spirit? Yeah, they're showing me new doors opening up for you, and then they showed me somebody moving again. So I think that for a lot of you in group number 1, it's going to be about physically moving homes, locations. New doors opening up for you could literally mean like you're opening a door to a new place. It could be... Yeah, no, I was going to say something else and it kind of caught in my throat. So that's usually an indication that that's not. So yeah, the first one was most accurate. Moving homes. And they're saying something about looking to your past when those patterns were like that before. Look to your history, they keep saying. So like look back and track how your life has evolved so far. And what were like the major pivot points? What did those look like for you? When did those occur? What was going on around those times? What significantly changed in your way of thinking that altered your course? Because that's what they're showing me this timeline shift looks like for you. Something changes in the way that you think, maybe learn something new, or you're inspired in a new way, or you see something that was keeping you stuck, or you change your beliefs. They're showing me something about psychology. So you learn something, you understand something, and then everything changes. Like your choices change as a result of that, or you get opportunities that come in that will lead you in the direction that you're meant to move in. Okay, there is, yeah, the 2 knights here can indicate travel by land. I'm hearing something about travel by land. So this could be short distance travel, road trips, cars. Something like that is just, it feels like movement. And I'm getting something about Leo as well. I don't know if that's going to be something about like Leo in your chart. Your Leo house could be significant. Leo season was in August. Something around then could have catalyzed or changed this. They were showing us a lot of doors, and doors can represent portals too, like symbolically. So the August portal could have been powerful for you, or will be, depending on when you're seeing this, because it's a timeless reading. And yeah, I also feel significantly the house that Leo represents, where it's placed in your chart. For me, I'm a Gemini rising, so that's my 3rd house. And the 3rd house does rule short distance travel, which I mentioned, and that's why I think they're having me use that as an example, because short distance travel, technology, cars, neighborhood, 3rd house can also rule your neighbors. So a change of neighborhood, it rules communication as well. So learning, understanding, what else? Yeah, it could be that you learn something from someone close to you, or they give you a perspective on something that really significantly shifts, and then you start to see the stark contrast. Or maybe you're shifting out of black and white thinking. They're kind of bringing me full circle here back to the beginning, because they were showing me black and white. And I just realized that black and white thinking is a cognitive distortion. They did say psychology. So you could be looking at your cognitive distortions and getting clear on something, and removing those illusions or those distortions. Again, the glasses, seeing something clearly. Glasses can also indicate reading, learning, intelligence, Ooh, you know what the glasses can also represent is alter egos. You know, like superheroes, they always put on glasses and you can't recognize them. So maybe you're taking off the glasses and tapping into your strength, or you are shifting your concept of self because you're seeing something differently about yourself, or you're changing your circumstances, and then that significantly repositions you in terms of the timeline. So that's ultimately that's what this boils down to, group number one, is that when you shift yourself, when you change your level of consciousness, your vibration changes, and that will drastically align you to the new timeline and misalign you from the old timeline. So you become a vibrational match to where the new timeline is leading you, the new potentials that open up to you because you've shifted yourself into becoming that, or you're in the process of doing so, and you vibrationally no longer match with what used to be. And that's why you may experience some physical changes, movement. They keep saying movement, whatever that means. And that will be your number one indicator that you've massively shifted timelines. Okay, I did also just hear final closing message, something about breakups and reunions. You may have gone through a significant breakup. You may be reuniting with someone significant, or you could see new potentials in terms of romance opening up as well. Movement could be part of that too, like maybe you're moving to be closer to someone, to reunite, whether you realize that or not. Sometimes you will be drawn to a particular area because you're meant to reconnect with someone. Other times you're meant to, no, okay, never mind. Yeah, they're just saying something about shifting frequencies and hinges. A lot of things to do with doors, like screws, hinges, doors. The hinge is something hinges on this, like, and they showed me something was hanging off the hinges. The door needed to close. The screws were not tight enough. The screws were stripped because they had been back and forth too many times. And so to close the door, you had to tighten up the screw, do some repair work, and then finalize the ending of the old chapter, which facilitates the new beginning. Okay, I think that's everything that, yeah, there's probably more, but I think I'll leave it there, group number one, because we're already at 25 minutes for your reading. But I hope that this was helpful, that it gave you some perspective, because that's really what this is really about for you, is perspective. That's how you know, you will know. You will be able to see a stark contrast in how you used to see things and then how you see it now, because that level of consciousness has significantly shifted, or will be significantly shifting. So I want to say good luck on your new timeline. Everything is unfolding as it should, I just heard, and trust the process. It's also a really big part of this too. It's a little bit of a leap of faith, and that's part of being open-minded with that Page of Swords mentality. Yeah, they said willingness to move in one way, shape, or form. All right, guys, sending you lots of love. Thanks so much for being here on the channel. If you guys are interested in getting a personal reading, I am offering those right now. You can find the link to my website, it's tarotandbeyond.com, in the description box below, where I have all of the offerings that you can browse through and select from. Lots of love, guys. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next reading. Bye. All right, hi, group number two. Welcome to your reading. You chose the Transformation card. And in group number one, we were looking at like really obvious changes, and they told me that the second and third groups were going to be a little bit more subtle. So this kind of transformation here in regard to shifting timelines for you, group two, is a little bit more subtle. They're saying something about gradual, and they showed me the leaf here on the card, and they were showing me clairvoyantly like a leaf, the way it grows buds. And if you watch it every single day, it's slow and subtle and gradual. If you were to not look at that tree for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you might look back out the window again and see that where a bud was, now there's a full-grown leaf. So it depends on how much you're watching it, how clearly this transformation shows up to you. But it does feel a bit more subtle for you guys. Yeah, we're going to go in with the animal cards, the Cosmic Creatures deck. So let's see. I saw 111. Armadillo. You know, the armadillo does transform itself. I mean, it doesn't physically change anything fundamental about itself, but it changes its shape. It goes from being open like this to curling up into a little ball for self-protection. So something about self-protection is part of this shift in timeline for you. You'll notice that you're protecting yourself in a new way, or you've shifted. Ooh, I just heard shifted what you let in. And now they're showing me the trees, the leaves letting in the sunlight. The fly. First thing that came to mind when I pulled this, it just could be free association, but was the movie The Fly with Jeff Goldblum. So creepy. That is a transformation that he goes through. Not a nice one. It's quite gruesome, but there's something about transformation here that they want to bring to your attention. Yeah, butterfly, also about transformation. The caterpillar becomes the butterfly, but it has to go through this sort of ugly, painful, yucky, dirty process. I don't know why that's what's coming up, but it's like there's something about this transformation for you, group number 2. It's subtle and it's gradual, but they said growing pains. Okay. So it's not like a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. It's just, it can feel a little icky in moments. And I did just hear shadow work. Okay. That's why the self-protection, that's what you're learning, or that's what you've been mastering through the shift here to alter this timeline, is from a space or a timeline where you were more vulnerable, you felt more vulnerable, or you didn't know how to protect yourself energetically or physically, interpersonally, and transforming into someone who can stand up for yourself, or to have additional power. Something about power is significant. Octopus. I don't know why I just heard, I don't think you see this coming. Like I heard that phrase, I don't think you see this coming. It wasn't my own thought. So it's like, there's something about this. The fly, I was noticing that, or I was thinking about the fly and how it has so many eyes. And butterflies can see color spectrums and infrared light that we can't possibly even imagine. Like we have 3, we're trichromatic, I think that's what it's called, when you have like 3 different, we can see those 3 primary colors and all the colors that they make. Butterflies have like something, I don't know, 14 or 16, I can't remember what it is, but they can see spectrums of light that we can't even fathom. So there's something about your sight and your ability to, it's like perceiving the world around you differently, and you're transforming at the same time. Which came first? Chicken and the egg, they said. Okay, so it's like both. The octopus here feels to me like something that was trying to grab or steal your energy catalyzed you to transform. So that's another clue. Is it something that was like attacking you? Something that you were vulnerable to before becomes something that you master. They were saying something about mastery. Maybe didn't they say shadow work? Was that for you guys? Or was that in group 1? Sometimes it all blurs together. Or maybe that's part of it too. Because the fly reference was like parts of different things blending together. It's like a hybrid type being. It's changing its form. You're unlocking something in your DNA. I don't know how. Wait, we'll find out. But there's something about the DNA, because they were showing me, splicing could be significant. Getting back to your original blueprint, they're saying. Oh, okay. The soul blueprint is held and activated within the DNA. So getting back to your original soul blueprint here is what sparks this metamorphosis, this transformation for you. And there's something about chronological time that they just showed me as well, because they were showing me the leaves again on the tree and how long it takes for them to go from bud to full Ooh, my throat. Excuse me. When I turned my head to the side to cough, my eye fell on 2 books that I have on my bookshelf. The first one is Your Erroneous Zones, and the second one was the Akashic Records. Healing Akashic Records. Okay, so something about your soul blueprint shifts here, group number 2. And it might feel subtle at first. It might be due to some healing work that you're doing. They keep saying something about protecting yourself and understanding these parts of the self that, yeah, they're saying something about integration. All right. The Ram. Integrating your power. This is kind of what shadow work is. It's individuation work. You're integrating parts of you that you rejected, or that something about steel, they just said steel was stolen. Oh, it was stolen, but I was thinking of it steel as in like the metal. Maybe your metal was tested, or either your strength was being tempered. So you're going to notice that when you shift timelines here, or if you already have, there's like a fundamental transformation of your power. You're able to access it more readily, I just heard. And then you can build from that. Something was stopping the flow. They just showed a beaver dam and how it stops the water from flowing through. It blocks it. So something was blocking you. I think it was something in your DNA. Maybe something that wasn't authentic to you. It's like if you cross a caterpillar with, I don't know, like a frog, it's going to have a hard time transforming into a butterfly because the frog DNA stops it from doing that. Somebody doesn't want me to communicate this information because my throat chakra went off earlier and now I'm feeling some level of resistance. Again, this could represent the block, but you will notice that something opens up to you, the flow of your power. This is your vital force energy. Your vital force energy will become more palpable. What? And when I said palpable, I saw Emperor Palpatine in my mind's eye from Star Wars. And he's like the super dark bad guy. So yeah, and he channeled the darkness, the dark force. There's something about shadow work, being able to integrate the shadow and not be owned by it, choosing the light, or being able to free yourself from some kind of attachment or an energy drain or an attack. Some kind of a psychic attack will be overcome. Oh, okay. Just channeled right out. You're overcoming a psychic attack by removing the splicing, removing yourself from the environment or from the internal influence of whatever was going on there. Ooh, the Panther. This came up in one of the collective scrying readings I did recently from a different deck, the Panther, and there was something about power with that as well. So this makes so much sense, group number 2. This timeline shift for you opens you up to your power again. And the Panther here is also protector energy. So you are, I think, knowing how protected you are. You're able to protect yourself. Yeah, they're saying use the Force, and I'm seeing Luke using the Force to protect himself from Emperor Palpatine. Choosing to see the good. Oh yeah, the different colors. Choosing to see the good in a bad situation. Ah, okay. The Deer. There was a couple things that came through from the Deer. The first thing I saw was deer in headlights. So something, again, it's like something that you were vulnerable to, or that put you into fight or flight or shock response, freeze response. Ultimately, you're able to overcome or transform from that. The other thing I saw with the Deer was, I heard actually when I laid the card down, was everything all at once. And we have the Snake. Again, transformation, shedding of the skin. I'm hearing release and purging of, there's some kind of darkness. It's like you're sucking out the venom, the toxicity. Yeah, there was some kind of like an attachment, maybe even an entity attachment, a psychic attack that you overcome here, group number 2. And it's subtle. the effects of it were subtle, they're showing me. And they were not, it's like you didn't see it for a really long time. You lived with it for so long, you didn't know the difference. You know when you, oh, that's why the frog was brought up, because the frog is also relevant here in terms of transformation, different stages of life, like tadpole to, what's the second phase? And then there's like a third one. So there may be multiple stages in this development. That's why it's gradual. But once the transformation is complete, it's stark. And you're able to see, you know, it's like gradually, and then all at once, you really notice the changes. It's kind of like when you start a new routine of something, like you don't see the changes right away, and then a couple months later you're like, oh wow, I'm completely different. But you don't notice it because it's gradual. That's another reference to the frog. It's like the frog in boiling water. They don't notice the shift if you change the degrees by increments. So there was something here that you were not aware of because you had existed in it for so long that it was just normal to you, or it was dormant in some way. Or it was subtle enough that you didn't see how it was affecting you or impacting you or why it was manifesting in that way. And then you master this gradual integration of the shadow, gradual integration of understanding your psychic power and potential, your soul development. I'm hearing something about soul development for you, group 2, and how that impacted your, oh, they said maturity level. The maturity level of your soul. This is about your soul's evolution, group number 2. I mean, everything is, but especially here in this timeline shift for you. It's a soul evolutionary process. And it's slow and gradual, but it's huge in the grand scheme of things because you're going from a beginner to a pro. You know, it's like if we could speed this up, you would see it as a montage or like a time lapse, and you'd be like, wow, look at all the different stages of that growth. But you don't necessarily see it when you're in it. Yeah, they're showing me montage. It's reminding me of Team America. If you want to go from just a beginner to a pro, you need a montage. That's the thing. When you watch a movie and you see the character going through this development of going from not being good at something to mastering it, it happens quite quickly. And so I think we have this expectation in the ego around how things should manifest quickly in that way. And we kind of have this instant gratification hardwired into our consciousness. And so you have maybe not seen the shifts and changes that you've been making, or the results of them, I should say. But they're showing me a before and after picture. You know how people say, like, well, you know, this is before I started eating this way, and this is after, or before I started this workout, and this is after. Things like that. And this is the level of transformation that they're saying. It's slow, it's gradual, but then when all is said and done, it's completely, like, you're a completely different version of you. They're saying you won't even recognize yourself because you went from weak. You were never really weak. You just had your power blocked. That's the only thing. It's not that you were weak. It was diverted. You didn't know how to own your power. It was being detracted from you. It was being drained. Like you maybe had energy vampires around you, or attachments, or self-doubt. You didn't have those boundaries in place energetically or with other people, whatever. The case is, like, you, either way, you didn't have full access to your power. I'm wearing the protection bracelet today too, so something about evil eye could be significant too. And you learn to master this power and to protect yourself, to respond rather than react, I just heard. And they showed me the deer again. Being able to respond when the car is coming at you, making a decision. That's your power, is your free will. Oh, okay, yes. Yes, the direction of your will towards healing. They're showing me the snake, which in the light side is about the evolution of the self. It is about healing. So integrating the shadow is a huge part of this timeline shift for you, group number 2. So notice those signs and symptoms of where you are starting to implement small yet subtle yet powerful, I want to say small, subtle yet powerful changes in your development of yourself. Okay, they just showed me the 6th house in the natal chart. Like, they showed me a natal chart and the 6th house. And the 6th house rules your daily routine, your habits. It can be like your work habits, your work environment, the things that you do on a daily basis, what you eat in the morning, your morning routine, your night bedtime routine, it's like your everyday stuff, and it's kind of mundane in that way. Something about colleagues too. They said something about colleagues or people you were working with. Maybe there was evil eye there. Yeah, they're saying detraction. Somebody was pulling on your energy. Jealousy or envy could be significant in this pattern as well. Overcoming that by learning to protect yourself. Learning to read the energy could be part of this as well. Being able to see it clearly and then say no, using your free will. You can set the intention that, nope, nobody can access my energy. I call all my power back to me. I am strong, I am powerful. They're showing me the Choku Ray in Reiki. It's a power symbol. So this is all about power for you, group number 2. And then instead of having that energy diverted, being able, they're showing me something about parasites. It's like, the energy was being pulled out of you. You're then able to have the full stream of your consciousness available, the full stream of your power available or accessible to facilitate growth. And I think that's when it goes from 0 to 100 really fast, because it's like you went from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6, and then there's a certain threshold that you cross. They're showing me the butterfly in the cocoon. It's like the middle stage where all of a sudden the change becomes quite drastic. And maybe you're not all the way there yet, but you see the physical changes that you've implemented start to manifest around you or within you, or it's like it exudes out of you. They're showing me something about it. It's like it's coming out of you. You can see your power. You're radiant, glowing. Something about masculine energy. They just show we all have both. So that's part of how you're tapping into this power. Okay, they said the word submissive. Maybe in the past you were more submissive, and you start to notice this timeline shift where, as one of the symptoms being you more dominant, more, not aggressive, but assertive. That's the word, more assertive. Yeah, they're saying something about control, self-control. You can control yourself, not controlled by your environment. Right, not controlled by your environment. So you may have been gaslit or emotionally manipulated by people around you, and that was the old timeline. The new timeline, you will notice you are more dominant, you are more assertive, you are more apt and likely, they're saying something about apt and likely, those were the words, to protect yourself or to stand up for yourself. Yeah, they're saying something about, I don't take no shit. It's like, you're not people pleasing in the new timeline. You're transforming into a much more powerful version of yourself. You're owning your own power, and you're knowing the level of protection that you provide and that is also provided to you. Maybe you're becoming more aware psychically of the protection that you've had all along too. Being able to see those frequencies that you didn't see before. Maybe you felt like you were going through life helpless, not having what you needed in terms of safety. But then you realize, because you evolve in such a way that you can access your own power, and that shows you, it's a mirror, as within so without, you start to see how protected you've actually been all along. Psychic protection has been there all along. I'm hearing it could have been much worse. Something about being pampered by spirit. that could be another symptom that you've shifted into this timeline, is that you're feeling more not only protected but pampered by spirit, like something about being weighted on hand and foot. It feels like Emperor energy, but now they're showing me the contrast between Emperor Palpatine and the Emperor card in the tarot. The shadow side would be Emperor Palpatine. The light side would be more of like what's a good example? Like a king who's in his power, but who uses it wisely, who wields it compassionately for self and others. Something about that. Level of responsibility will be increasing, they're telling me. So you will notice some of the subtle shifts in terms of your responsibility. They're showing me something about work again. 6th house is very important here. Something about the 6th house. What's the axis on that? The 6th house and 11th house, I think, is the axis. Yeah. Like directly across from the 6th is the 11th, and the 11th house is to do with your dreams, your hopes, your wishes, your desires, friendship groups, people that you have around you, social hierarchy. how you're known in that social group. So something about the way people perceive you could be changing. That's a little bit 10th house as well. But you're taking on more responsibility, or you're going to be given more responsibility because you're being more assertive, going after your dreams and goals, taking the lead, I'm hearing. And they're showing me the Emperor card again and the Ram, so Aries type energy. Being able to progress, yeah. And seeing that progress bear fruit, because now they're showing me the leaves in taking the sunlight, increasing the power in the tree, and then producing the fruit. So you actually have the energetic resources that you need, I'm hearing the word stamina, to be able to accomplish your goals. And it's like, when I look at the 6th and 11th house axis, it makes me think of like the daily things that you do that build up over time. That's what leads to that drastic before and after, but you don't notice it until you're on the other side. Something about the movie, so many people have recommended this movie to me, and I still haven't watched it because I just need to like sit down and stream it, but it's not on any of the streaming sites that I have. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. If you've seen it, maybe you will understand how this connects, or there's something in that that's going to be significant to what this timeline shift looks like for you. If you've seen the movie, can you put how that's relevant to you, or what associations you might see in that in the comments below? Because I haven't seen it, so I don't know, but there's something about that movie that Spirit is bringing up for a reason. And it could just be the reference that they were showing before about it kind of feels like it starts slowly and then it becomes really tangible over time. Yeah. Okay, group number 2, I think that is what Spirit wanted to say here. Yeah, they're saying something that, okay, hold on, before you go, they're just showing me all the eyes, the eyes, the eyes, the eyes. So this feels like a third eye awakening for you. Oh, they said activation. You may receive a third eye activation. You may come into contact with someone who's very psychic, and that could activate you just by proximity, tapping into your own power, they're saying. Being able to perceive the past clearly, like what led you to this point, the choices that you made that didn't work, and the choices that you're making that do. They're showing me your clear perception, especially psychically, possibly being intuitively led could be part of this as well, trusting your intuition and acting on it and doing that consistently, especially when it comes to protecting yourself or standing up for what you believe in or going after your dreams. Final closing message, they're saying something about alignment, lining things up, getting things very kind of sharp and in a line. Spiritual alignment, yeah. And they did mention the Akashic, so I think some level of psychic understanding or soul level understanding helps you to facilitate this timeline shift in a big way. Okay, group number 2, I looked up when I finished that sentence, it was 2444 on the recording time. And the Emperor is the number 4 too. We didn't have that card here because we didn't use tarot, but the Emperor is kind of like your archetype right now, or that will be the significator. Maybe you'll see the Emperor card a bunch during this transition or once you've shifted into this new timeline. The number 4 or 444 as well. Okay, I'll cut it off there. Maybe there's something you're cutting off. I could go on, but I'll stop there. Group number 2, because we're going to get into group number 3 now. So thank you for being with me here today. I hope this reading was helpful. Take what resonates and leave the rest as usual, but these could be some of the synchronicities, signs, symbols, or indications that you have shifted. And this is what Spirit wanted you to know about that. If you guys are looking for more detailed or personal information or readings, I do offer those right now, and you can find the link to my website. It's tarotandbeyond.com in the description box below this video if you'd like to order a reading. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys. All right, hi, group number 3. Welcome to your reading. You chose the Walk Your Truth card. And that's so funny. The first thing I'm seeing is somebody going, high five. So I think you're going to be congratulated for speaking your truth or walking in your truth in this way. I feel like people are going to be proud of you. That's actually the first message I'm getting really, really strongly. People are going to want to congratulate you. They're proud of you. You're being recognized in some way. This could be an indication for you that you've shifted timelines. Okay, let me see what deck we're going to use for you guys. I didn't plan any of these out, so I'm just kind of looking intuitively at the different options that I have. We're going to go with this deck. Okay, let me just clear it because I haven't used this one in a while. So for group number 3, what do they need to know here about this shift? Awakening. I think this is you awakening to a certain level of your truth that maybe you didn't see before. And I don't know if this is people around you congratulating you on something or if this is spirit. I think it could probably be both. Encounter. There's gonna be different encounters with people. I just keep seeing somebody giving you high fives. Like there's some kind of connection there, you know, there's like mutual appreciation or understanding. Something about that is significant, especially if you were in a period of solitude before. The timeline shift you'll notice is you feeling more connected to the people around you, or people around you bringing you out of solitude, maybe recognizing you, pulling you out of your shell in some way. It just feels like you feel more connected. And I think that if that is the case, it's because you are feeling more connected to yourself, as within, so without. The outside reality is just a mirror of what's going on inside. So as you embrace more connection with your authenticity, you start to see that being appreciated by others, or connecting more authentically with the right people because you are embodying that frequency of authenticity of yourself. Here, right here and right now. I'm hearing that song. Right here, right now. It's the only place I want to be. So I feel like you're getting more grounded and more present. Something about engagement. This could be marriage engagement. This could, yeah, that speaks about connection. You're being congratulated. Something about a proposal could be significant. Yeah, they're saying that's a big timeline shift. For if you work on social media, engagement can mean the engagement on your content is increasing. People are interacting with it more, liking the video, commenting, sharing. That's all engagement. So, or even views can be engagement. Something about retention, staying here. Okay. Yes. Yes. Something you've created is being recognized, and I just heard accreditized. I don't think that's even a word, but I thought was actually what I heard was accreditized. So you're getting credit for something, or you're being accredited. You're being recognized. This is how you will know. This is how you will know that the shift has occurred. Letting go. And it's through this process of surrender. Like you've had to kind of let go leading up to this point. Letting go of any attachment I just heard. Any attachment to the outcome, any attachment to people. And if you're not new here on the channel, you've probably heard me talk about this many times, where I say that attachment is the opposite of connection. Like if we're attached to something, we're actually disconnected from it, and we'll end up pushing it away. It's like the energy repels. To be detached allows us to connect because we're surrendered, we've let go, and we can truly appreciate that thing, whether it's there or not. And that allows true connection to flourish and thrive. So it feels like you've detached from something and gained freedom, detached from attachment to an idea of something, or I'm hearing an idea of how you believe something should go. Something about portrayed, how something was portrayed to you, or how you portrayed yourself to the world. You may have been attached to a certain desire, something about a desire, yeah. And then you let go of it. You seek that inner freedom. Something about retrieval. I'm hearing the word retrieval. Retrieving parts of yourself that were lost. Being anchored in the present moment, calling all parts of you back together. Benevolence. And I feel like you doing this for yourself shows up on the outside. Like you're doing good things for you, and then you start seeing people do good things for you as well. Like the better you treat yourself, the more compassion you have for yourself, the less egoically attached you get to certain things. I just heard seeing yourself as a failure. Okay, so like healing any kind of perfectionism or self-detrimental thoughts, behaviors. It's like self-sabotage type stuff. You're able to congratulate yourself. I'm here to give yourself a pat on the back. Being on your own side, having your own back. Go team. It's like collaborating with yourself, and then you start to see that mirrored back to you from the people around you. True benevolence. They're showing me the planet Jupiter could be significant. It's like the most benevolent planet. New cycle. Yeah. This is what we're talking about. It's a timeline shift. It's a new cycle. And it's coming as the result of this awakening process that you're doing with yourself. Like you just treating yourself better is what it feels like. Group number 3, you're treating yourself better, and then you start to see that mirrored back to you on the outside in terms of the people you attract, types of relationships that you have. I heard the word flourish. New relationships will flourish. More balance, I'm hearing. Feels like you will have new friendship zones. They're saying something about new friendship zones. What do you mean, Spirit? Zones. What is zone? I'm hearing friends in high places. Okay, so like maybe you are attracting friendships with people who have accomplished what you are working on, or who see potential in you in some way, or because you've achieved something, you're now at that same level. Yeah, it's like you've moved into a new zone. This is a timeline shift, right? So you move into a new zone, a new frequency, and you start attracting different. I'm hearing and better. So different and better. Especially if you went through a period where you were like kind of lone wolfing it. You started attracting counterparts in all forms, like friends, partners, collaborators, advocates. I'm hearing. They're showing me the Avengers clairvoyantly right now. The Avengers. Oh, it's like a team. Yeah, it's a team of very powerful people. The Avengers, like gods and superheroes, and then for some reason Black Widow. Highly trained or skilled people. But there's, I think, a shift in your ability to trust other people as well. Like you're not quite so much on your guard all the time. Maybe in the past you felt like you couldn't trust people, and I think it was because there were parts of yourself that you didn't fully trust. And part of this timeline shift is getting reacquainted with yourself on a new level. This feels like a major level up for you, group number 3. They're playing the song, I'm on a new level. I'm on a new level. I'm on a new level. So you're moving up in some way. They keep saying friends in high places, and it feels to me like you're not like intentionally trying to climb some kind of social hierarchy ladder or anything like that. It's not like you're like money grubbing or anything. No. What I'm feeling here from this reading is that you just attract people who are of a like vibration. And you're going to start to see one of the symptoms of this timeline shift is that people who are in positions of power, possibly in your career, your field, in something that you've wanted to accomplish. It doesn't have to be work related. It's just like something you've wanted to do. You start attracting people that have either done that or are on their way very quickly to becoming that. And you collaborate with them, you work with them. Something about exchange, team. Yeah, it's like a team mentality. Like we can do it together and everybody benefits. So it definitely feels much more reciprocal, symbiotic. And this helps you to shift out of the old timeline, possibly where there was like fear or resistance or repelling of other people because of the internal criticism or judgment that would then reflect back from in the world around you. It feels like there was some kind of discrepancy in the way that you were portraying yourself or the way that you felt about yourself internally. And then because of the authenticity shift, you're able to see yourself more clearly through other people. I'm hearing big ups, something about big ups, people big upping you. Recommendations, you could be getting recommended by people talking about you. It's like your name is being discussed in rooms, that circles that you would never have expected. And then you start to see that, like, you don't see it right away, but something about what is that saying? They said something about preceding, like, oh, my name precedes me, or something like that. Like, people have heard of you or being told about you, something about you being mentioned. They're showing me an @ symbol, and they said the word mentioned. So for some of you in group number 3, I feel like you're content creators, or you're online, or you do some kind of work through social media in some way, or this could be to do with friend groups as well. But you're being added, you're being mentioned, you're being like promoted in some way, shared. Okay, now they're showing me recording artists. I don't know if that's like a specific thing, or if there's some kind of symbolism to that. I don't know how recording artists, well, they express themselves freely. Maybe you're getting out of some kind of contract, or you're getting into a different contract in terms of your creativity. Because when I think of recording artists, it's like, well, they're artists. So something about your creative pursuits is significant. This could be why you're being mentioned in certain fields or spaces or zones, is because you're not holding back. I keep hearing that you're not allowing perfectionism to prevent you from expressing yourself. I think this is the hugest shift that you make here, group number 3. So if you want to shift timelines into this reality where you're getting mentioned in the right rooms by the right people, and you collaborate in really beautiful reciprocal ways where both sides are benevolent in their approach and there's no underhandedness or ulterior motives, you need to own your authenticity. You need to be connected to you. You need to support yourself. You need to like pat yourself on the back, congratulate yourself, be on your own team, be more compassionate in your pursuits. So like, don't get mad at yourself if you stumble or fall. Adapt, grow, continue to evolve. Don't let any previous limitations hold you back. I think that's the most important thing here. And then you're going to encounter people who, again, they're just mirroring that back to you, because that's the timeline that you enter into. That's what you're a vibrational match to. And you can do that right here and right now. 1333 on the recording time when I said that. You can do that right here and right now. And I'm just, again, there's something about music or recording artists for somebody in this group that may be a very specific message, because they just showed me, I'm wearing a t-shirt, Guns N' Roses t-shirt actually, and I saw it in the mirror reflected back to me. So again, it's about mirroring. Guns N' Roses, a recording artists, band. So bands makes me think of collaboration. Music makes me think of expression, authenticity, creativity, and getting signed for something, or getting recognized for something, or having an opportunity present itself to you because you're being more authentic and more visible, perhaps too, in what you're creating or what you're putting out there. Okay. Debut. I know that this is like the French on the top. It's the French version of the words, but debut. It's like you may be debuting a new side of you. And it's getting attention, or will get attention when you're in this new timeline. And that's going to be one of the major symptoms here, is that you will start to see more attention, more eyes on you, but in a good way. And you may not feel it right away. I'm just getting a message right now, group number 3, that you may not feel it right away. You may feel like things are not shifting or changing, but there's something happening behind the scenes, because they just showed me that. It's like there's something behind the curtain that you're not seeing yet. So in the here and now, you might feel like, oh, nothing has changed. I'm doing the same thing. Or no, sorry, the other way around. They're saying I'm doing something different, but I haven't seen anything change yet. it's because a lot of this was going on behind the scenes, and it kind of takes a little while to present itself. It's not immediate, and they said something about immediacy. Media could be significant. I don't know why the middle of that word really stood out to me, media. But it's not fast. Like, I don't know, my mom always used to say to me, it takes 10 years to become an overnight success, because you don't see what's going on behind. You don't see all the work that goes into it. All the digging you had to do, I just heard, and they're showing me the roots of the plant going deep before the stem grows up and actually blooms into a flower. So it's like you needed this time to do a lot of this behind the scenes work, this internal work within yourself, to be who you are. It's like there was a lot of unpacking to do, or there was a lot of getting to the root of things, maybe even like building your inner security, because the root chakra is to do with your fundamental sense of security, your sense of safety in the world. So you kind of had to work on building that up first, so that it was safe for you to be grounded in the present moment and expressing yourself as exactly who you are, not holding any part of yourself back. I keep hearing that, like, do not hold yourself back. Group number 3. Tell it like it is. Show up. Be yourself. Do it often. Because I can tell you from experience that doing anything for the first time, especially anything public, is not easy. Like, it doesn't come naturally. You just have to do it over and over and over again until you become comfortable with it. I mean, you can probably look back at some of my first videos on this channel, or even on my first channel, To Kitty and Beyond, and you'll see, like, I was not comfortable speaking on camera, being on camera, or even just like having my voice on camera. It was difficult, and I still have days like that. And it's through practice, and it's through just doing it regularly, that you get more comfortable with it. It becomes easier, and there's less of a veil or a mask, because you're not as hung up on how you're presenting, and you're more focused in the here and now on what it is that you're doing, what you're creating, how it feels, and who you are. It's just about the authenticity of your expression. And the reason I'm saying this is because this is all part of the timeline shift for you. It's like you start doing something differently. You start doing it consistently. You start showing up in this new way, which is also an act of self-love. When you don't hold yourself back, you're not abandoning or rejecting any parts of you unconsciously. Actions speak louder than words. So hiding a part of yourself is like saying to yourself, that part of me is not worthy, or that part of me is not valuable, or I don't like that part. And then that creates inner disharmony. So I'm seeing you actively and probably consciously and intentionally doing this, and being able to show up, and being able to acknowledge that the way that you present yourself is more than how other people perceive you. It's actually not even about that. It's about how you feel in yourself, and the level of comfort and security that you're building and have built to be able to express yourself in a way that is unfiltered. I mean, there's always going to be a certain level of like social filter, but it's much less. And it's way more on point in terms of who you are and or what you can do. Because I think those two are really correlated for you, group number 3. Who you are and what you can do are tied together in some way. And it's not that what you can do defines you. It's more like part of your essence, your authenticity, your soul expression comes out in how you do something or what you do. And I think that's what you're going to get recognized for, whatever that happens to be for you. All right, is there anything else? Final closing messages for group number 3, Spirit? Yeah, they're showing me you going from like closed blossom to open, but it took a while. It doesn't happen overnight. They keep saying that. It doesn't happen overnight. So give yourself the time. But you will notice this timeline shift when you start feeling gradually and consistently more comfortable being yourself around other people. And the type of people that you attract. Now they're showing me the flower opening and the bees coming. So it's like pollinators. It's like a reciprocal relationship, symbiotic relationship with other people. That seems to be a theme. I think that came up in group 2 in a different context as well. But similar message. Interesting. You may have a message to share as well, group number 3. Because when I think of music, it's like there's a message in the music, the lyrics, the meaning, the songs. It's like an expression from the heart speaking on something. You may be somebody who communicates for a living, or you'll be incorporating more of that, or something about this authenticity really hinges on your throat chakra or your ability to communicate or express verbally. Yeah, delivering a message. I'm hearing something about delivering a message. A message of love. And that could literally just be because you're showing up as that. You are the example. And that's the frequency. And that's why you're getting appreciated. Okay. Yeah. And there, one final closing message is saying if there is any envy or projection that comes your way, you're much more secure and able to not tolerate it, but you're able to handle it. You're able to not internalize it or make it mean anything about you. And if something does kind of scratch the inner surface or it feels entangled within you, you're able to unpack that and get to the root of it. You're able to understand what that projection is showing you, maybe mirroring back to you. It's not always a mirror projection, but it can be sometimes. And I think that the more deeply you embrace your authenticity, the more clearly you're able to use those experiences if and when they arise as catalyst for continuing to express your authentic self. Okay, guys, I think that's it. I will see you next time. I don't know why I just wanted to say that. Something about see you next time. Anyway, I will leave it there. Thank you guys so much for being here. I deeply appreciate you watching these videos. I hope that you are getting value out of them and that these messages are helpful in some way. Just take what resonates and leave the rest. But if you were drawn here, probably drawn here for a reason. If you guys would like a personal reading with me, I am offering those temporarily. The link to my website, it's tarotandbeyond.com, is in the description box below. You can order a reading there. I also have downloadable activations if you're interested. So sending you guys lots of love, and we'll see you in the next reading. Bye.